Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time I will try to explain how you can actually declick the Canon FL lens, which is the older version of the FD and NFD, new FD, but this is the older thingy. Nice lens actually, and it renders the picture quite good. And probably some of you use a lens adapter with this one. It could be some of those. From this case is the Photodiox Pro FD to Nikon. Well, it could also be used to my FL lens. But I would like to declick it to get this annoying click away, because it will not be good if you use it for video recording. So how can we actually do that? It's quite simple. Well, you do not need a lot of tools. It depends on what you would do with it. In this case, I don't know if any of the FL 50mm 1.8 has this automatic manual. I don't know. There are different versions as long as I can see on the internet. But it depends. So what can we do here? We take off the nameplate and the front ring here with the little dot here. And then we can take off the focusing ring and then the aperture ring, and underneath somewhere here there should be a steel ball and a click function thingy. Now we used to I can use the number 5 cone from Japan Hobby Tool, or I could use a lens tools. I prefer my old compass, which I modified, which you can actually put into the 2 holes here in the front, and simply unscrew it. Or you could use a rubber gasket tool from the hardware store. It fits quite well in here. Go to the hardware store and see if you can get some of those different rubber gasket. They have many shapes and size too. But let's dig into it. If I use what I have, a tool, homemade, whatever, and put it into the tool and unscrew it. It can sit quite tight. And we can, when I unscrew the name ring here, we can see underneath, what if the ring is way too tight? What can I do? Well, you could actually, if there by accident is so much thread lock here inside, or it would be here, just like you can see there has been some traces of thread lock here. Well, you could use a cotton bud to actually free up the you can add some isopropyl alcohol here with this isopropyl alcohol 99% or so, and simply add it via here in the edge when the name ring is on, and let the isopropyl alcohol suck into this thread down here, not the front here. It's just for the filter ring. So and then here we can see it's much better what will happen actually. So you can simply add the isopropyl alcohol on the edge of the the front ring here. Now, it's not the case here since I've been into the lens before, so it will not be that sticky. To actually get into the to the aperture system, we need to set the lens to 0.6 meter here. So set the lens to 0.6 and the aperture to 1.8. That's our beginning point. And since the annoying breeze ring here is quite annoying, so I will put it on an adapter here, and it could be whatever adapter, but this is from PhotoDX, so let's see how it will work. Put it on and then turn the breeze ring. Then I will just put it onto a Nikon camera, because it's much easier to handle in this way. Because all those rings that will turn, the focusing ring, the breathe ring, and so on, it's just more safe. Now, around the aperture ring there are 3 set screws here, here, and here. Then I will use a 1.5 millimeter flathead screwdriver to loosen it only. There's no need for unscrew them. Just a few turn and that's it. And do it with the next one here and the last one. Remember, things could be different in your lens, so but I guess it will be the same. Now, set a mark here before we do anything, because you want to actually put the lens back to normal again when you have done the modification here. So at 1.8, I should have mentioned that in the beginning, but the index mark here, everything is reference to the index mark up to here. Set a small mark here on the front here of this. You won't see it, nobody would ever see it. And then on the actual aperture ring, no, it's difficult to see, but simply make a scratch here, just a small arrow, so you know where things should line up when it's done. Difficult to see on a shiny aluminium surface. So now we can actually take it off. So that's it. Just a simple ring with 3 screws. And then we come into the actual aperture ring. Not the aperture, refocusing ring. And before we do anything in moving anything away, we'll set the lens to infinity. It's more easy to actually reach the things here. So I actually set a mark in here. It could be, it's here, it could also be over here or here. It doesn't really matter, as long as you know that's the place where the focusing ring will sit when it's all done in correct way. In a correct way. So, and we can also, before we take apart anything, as long as the aperture here is fully open, I have my mark which I set in the beginning, and we can also make an arrow here, which is the aperture ring here. So now I can unscrew the 3 small screws here underneath. Oh, it's too big. And I will use a 2 millimeter JIS. Remember that word. JIS is the screwdriver you use for Japanese lenses or many other lenses, not necessarily made in Japan, but it's just a camera standard, kind of, as I see it. So unscrew it. It's good to have a magnetized screwdriver. So if you don't have it, well, you can just use a small magnet here and simply do like this a few times, and it will be much more magnetized, which is really good. Of course, it will not work with some modern lenses with the electronic stuff inside, magnetic encoder tapes and so on. So all 3 screws are out, and then I can take out the focusing ring. So nothing special about that. And now we are looking much more into the actual inside of the aperture system. This is the actual aperture ring inside here. It connects via a screw down here. We can turn it to 0.6. So you see this screw is connected from this aperture ring into the actual aperture mechanism in here. We cannot see it move at the moment, but I can just set it to, let's see if it will work. So you can see here, where did it go? This little set screw here. It will move, and the aperture in the inside will also move. And when we are in here, the aperture click comes from this spring here, leaf spring, and underneath in here, underneath this point here, there is a small steel ball. And before taking anything apart, we will also set a small mark here. It's good to set a mark here on the side, here, and also, at least, I mean, you just don't need to do any more than this. So you know where the spring is actually sitting. And it also depends on where the steel ball is sitting, one side or the other. It depends on where you move this to one side or the other. But as long as the lens has not been taken apart at first, before I took it apart, I will just set a mark here. It's my reference. It could be different in your lens. So, and we will need a at least 2.5 millimeter flathead screwdriver. It doesn't really matter what brand it is. And we will simply start by one screw. They are very short, but with a big head. So, and it's also good, it's magnetic. And the other one, which I can hold here onto the leaf spring here, and simply take it apart, hopefully. So out with that screw. And now we can actually take care of the parts here. I think it's worked better with a dented tweezer here instead of a curved tweezer like this, because there's not really much you can grip on. The dented tweezer is just much better in this case. It depends on what you have. So now, oh, the steel balls was actually sitting here. But if we look here, because I will not destroy this lens at all, you can always reverse the process if you want to do it as a normal lens. The first notch here is the first click. It will say 0.8. And if we go all the way up to the last one, it will be 16. So there are only a few clicks. So the first is where the steel ball has to lay on, and that's it. Now we can, we can put in, just have the steel ball out, but you might better just have it all out and just assemble the lens again without any click. You see, this lens is lucky. We are lucky with this lens. Most of the time you have a lens and you need to do something with the internal springs. It will say, if we look into here, this pin here on the back, which interact with the Canon camera, the aperture mechanism, it will move. But in this case, which is the lens is set to A, when I move this, it will also move the actual, well, I have to set it to 16. Then I can move the knob here and the ring all the way over to here, and it will close the aperture. At first, when I was in this lens, I would think, okay, I can unhook the spring in here. You can see a little part of here, and simply move this arm all the way over to as long as it could, and there is a screw in here where I could tighten it and it will stay there. Now, when I recognized that this lens was actually an automatic and manual, the only thing I need to do is simply take out the steel ball and the leaf spring as we have here. And then I could actually put the lens back to normal, which I will do. That's actually that. That's why really, really easy. So I have the index mark here. And then I can assemble the lens again with the 3 screws holding the focusing ring, and in that way you have a declicked Canon lens, FL lens, which is actually quite smart in that way, because it's simple to do. Everybody can do it if they want. I haven't done any damage to the lens. Someone mentioned that it's not good with all those fine old lenses because they are historical. Yeah, but what if they just collect dust on the shelf? It's more fun to have it out and do something which is quite unique, and in that way use the old gear for something. So now I'm at Finity. I check my mark underneath here, which is all fine, and then I can just screw in the 3 screws here and then set it to 0.6, and then have it to full open. Then see, it's all the way to 16. Now I can turn it to full open and then put in the aperture ring again without any click, which is quite smart. And since I have set a mark here at 16, in the beginning. I know exactly the position of where things should sit. That's a very simple way of declicking an FL. I mean, at least this lens. There are many other lenses that might be good to declick because they're interesting render, the way they render the pictures. So now it's full. Wow, fine and nice. And then it's almost back to a declicked normal version. This little guide pin here on the front ring has to go into the notch here, which will also be in the little white dot here on the front, in line with the index mark. Then I can put the name ring, front ring on, and it's quite easy with the rubber tool. Then you go a little backward until it says click. Should say click somewhere. Right here somewhere. Okay, we'll just use a tool. There, it says click. And then we can simply screw it back into place. And then the lens looks like normal. Yeah, it does, but it's without any click. So this is how you can transfer a lens, I mean a 50mm FL lens 1.8 onto a video lens without any click. Hope you can use the info in this video for your conversion out there. See you sooner in another video. Bye bye.